Okay, we're on 22 Chav Beis. Hanech Tarti the Dami letter. Those two are similar to each other. Kachad Chashav they're considered like one. So it's not 17, it's 60. V'hashitzri v'amikol mokom l'didi chazal adiksiv l'isura, and they were all written as prohibitions. Omer le'u l'tameich, yav ksiv le'tera. If they were written le'heter, yavisam chasal, would you have relied on that? Demar brei Rav nemichasim, did he sign on it? Hashanami d'ksiv l'isura lav mar brei Rav nechasim alayu. So when you are quoting that you saw a list of 16, did he sign on it? So that it just been misol. Tanav Rav Chia. This is the additional ones of Rav Chia. Shlishi shebivno v'shebibito, the third generation down from your son or daughter, or ben ishto v'shebibas ishto, your stepson or your stepdaughter. Rav Chia adds those as a shniya. And Revi shebachami v'shebachamonitzoi, the fourth generation up from father-in-law and mother-in-law is also a shniya. Om Ravina Ravashi, Maishna l'malad kachashiv l'ishto. If you add your wife and the three generations up, that's called 4. Umaishna l'mata d'loy kachashiv l'ishto. You counted it on the way down 3 because you didn't count the wife. Why? Because since the in-laws, the Isra is coming because of the wife, Chashivla, she's counted in the count. Lamata, the Isra lav mikach because the bottom ones don't necessarily come because of the wife, lo kachashivla. But the Gemara says, Va ben ishto bas ishto, the stepdaughter and the stepson, that's coming, the Isra mikach because if lo chashivla didn't count 4. And for the Gemara, I did the Tana Shloisha Doros Lamata Didei. It only counts 3 generations down from the father. V'lo chashva, Tanami Shloisha Doros Lamata Dida v'lo chashva. It also only counts 3 down from him, just to be even Steven. Honor Rashi Rav Kana. These extra shniyas to be Rav Chia. Yesh lehem hefsek or ein lehem hefsek? Do they go down forever or do they stop? Toshma Damara. Arba noshim yesh lehem hefsek. The sulo, implying that these other shniyas of Rav Chia don't have a hefsek. Or says, who knows? Maybe Rav, when he said that only these 4 have a hefsek, was referring to the Mishnah, not to Rav Chia's statement. So Toshma, Shlishi Revi, and no further. Shlishi Revi in Tfelo. So maybe they have a hefsek. So the Gemara says, Dilma Mishlishi Ve'elech Revi Ve'elech. So there's no raya from there. And the poskim paskin that there's no hefsek by the shniyas of Rav Chia. Armalei Rav Nachman. Chazi Mar Haim Rabbanon, the Osam in Marava v'Omar. We saw these chachamim come from Eretz Yisrael, Boam b'Marava. Gozru shniyas begerim or lo gozru shniyas begerim? Is there exera shniyas by converts? Remember, Minat Torah, a convert is kekatan shenoy ladami. Technically, a convert can marry his mother or his daughter. Right? He has a mother. He has a daughter before he became Jewish. Now he's Jewish. He has no relatives. Technically, he can marry his mother, marry his daughter. The Chachamim make a gzeira. It says, how can the law regarding the ger be more makel than by goyim be more makel than by, it has to be even. So they made a gzeira. But what about shnios? All these grandmothers, all these other.
Let me ask you, it's not a mitzvah of Sheva b'dei Noach that you're not allowed to marry. It's incestuous there.
Absolutely, that's the problem. By goyim it's aser, and by this ger, they're going to say, "Oh, you see, these Jews once they became Jews, they became more lenient." So because of this svar that we're about to learn, they were goyzer on him. So they shouldn't make fun. Armalei hashta uma erva gufa. The mamish and erva, the mother, the daughter, ilav shelo yoimru boy mikdusha chamur lekdusha kala. If it wasn't for the fact that the goyim would say, "Oh, They're coming from a more higher sanctity to a lesser sanctity. Otherwise, they wouldn't be goyzer. They did gozer. So shnius maboy, then certainly they would be goyzer shnius. So the Gemara says like this: Amar Rav Nachman Gerim, Hoil v'asel liyadin. So the halacha is loy gozra la shnius begerim. Lefichach muter lager la seis emim. He can marry his grandmother. Now, what about testimony in court? By Gerim, brothers from the same mother, lo ye'idu, should not give testimony together. Because Kirvas Ein Begerim is a real relative. Because the problem is, by Goyim, you don't know who the real father is. There's promiscuity. But we know who the mother is. It came out of her uterus. So there is, the Goyim follow their mother. So brothers from the same mother cannot give testimony in court together, even after they converted. However, im heidu eduson edus, because technically they're kekot and shenoila dami. Achim and av meid lechatchila. But brothers from the same father who converted, they can testify in court. We don't know who the father is. The Rachmana made the zer of a goy hefker. Zremes susim zramtam, says in Yecheskel. So they're not related to their fathers. It's not considered a relative. Amema says that even brothers from the same mother who became gerim can give testimony l'chatchila. Now, Maishlama Arayas, where we don't allow it. Everyone chooses who they're going to marry. So you can't matir. They will be matir other things. Eidus lebezdin mesura. Eis is given to the judges and bezdin. They're not going to make mistakes. Because Gershon is gar kekod shenot. Mishnah. Misheyesh lo ach mikol makom is a very important Mishnah. What does that mean? Any kind of brother. Now, if one of those brothers dies, the woman falls to Yibum. The achivu l'chol davar, and we're going to include a brother. He's going to be a brother no matter what. For example, what if he's a mamzer? He's a brother. Chutz b'mi sheyesh lo ach min hashivcho min hanochris. If you have a brother from a non-Jew, so that's not considered a brother. That's not a brother where it'd be zoykek liyibum. Similarly, mi sheyesh lo ben mikol makom poiter eshesavi min hayibum. Any child will pater the woman from yibum. So, for example, even if the child was a mamzer, well, we'll see. We'll see who that excludes. Any son. And a son is chayiv al makosov al kiloloso. Any son is chayiv misa if he strikes his parent or curses his parent. If you have a son from a shivcha or from a goyeta, then it's not considered his son. Now, when it says yesh lo ach mikol makom lasuyimai, already lasuyim mamzer. The father had relations with an Eishasish and had a son. So that's a brother from the same father. Now he's a mamzer. Doesn't make a difference. If that guy gets married and dies without children, those women fall to the other brothers, liyibu. So the word is pshita achivu. I mean, he's his brother. Why would I think not? The whole Inyan of Yibum is learned from the sons of Yaakov. Now, they were not mamzerim. Malahalan ksherim v'lo psulin afkan ksherim v'lo psulim. Kamash malon that we need this halacha that even an ach mamzer is considered an ach to create the chiyuv of Yibum. Maybe not so. Maybe a mamzer is not an ach. Kiven delini Yibum ifter nifter. No, if the child is a mamzer, Let's say the father had a child with an Eshes Ish. It's considered and then he died. It's considered that he died with a child, and therefore there's no Yibum. So since the mamzer will potter the woman from Yibum, miskik nami zokik, then certainly he can serve as a brother. Now he's a brother no matter what. L'may hilchasa, leyorsho, right? To be one of the yorshim of the brother, ulatamelo. And if he's a kohen, he has a lot to go to his funeral, because a kohen can only go to the funeral of a close relative. Again, the Gemara says, Prita achivu. Why would we think not? Ki im l'she'ero hakarove love. V'omar mar she'ero zu ishto. Uksiv lo yitama bal b'amav lehechalo. Yesh bal shemitame v'yesh bal she'emitame. There are some husbands that go to a funeral, some that don't. Haketzad. Mitame hu liishto ksheira. Ve'ein mitame liishto psula. So if, for example, if the wife committed adultery and he cannot live with her anymore because she's a zona, or let's say it's a kohen and she becomes a halachic zona through some kind of dia b'isser, so he can't go to her funeral. Maybe a kohen can only be matame to a kosher ach, not to a pasal dika ach. Kamash malon that he can. Ema chanami. Hasam lafuke kaima. Over there, by Isha Psula, we push her out. Because in general, he has to divorce her, he can't live with her. But here he remains his brother. You can't get rid of a brother. My time, Amar Kra, ha'isha viladea tiel adonea. This, like, if a shifcha knanis has a child, it goes to the master. It's not misyaches after the father of that shifcha. Then it says, Mishiesh lo ben mikol makom poiter. Any son serves to pater the woman from Ibum. Mikol makom lasuyim, Amrav Yud lasuyim mamzer. Again, that if the father lived with a nation Ish had a son, and this is now a brother to the other brothers, even though he's a mamzer, it paters the wife from Yibum. My timer. The Amar Kra uvein ein lo, ayin alav. Check him out, he's his son. Ein lo comes ayin alav. Look carefully. No, anytime if you find a son, even a mamzer's son, it's called his son. Then the Mishnah said, chayiv al makoso. Any kind of son is chayiv on striking the parent. Amai korikan v'nosi bam chaloso, or it says, don't curse somebody in your people. Referring to boys of Maisa Amcha. We're talking about, it has to be a tzaddik. Somebody, for example, is not noyeg b'kashrus. You're allowed to curse him. Now, this mamzer was created by a father that lived with an Eshes Ish. So, you're allowed to curse him. You don't know if Pinchas Mishred Rav, but it's a tshuva. We're talking about he made tshuva. Chanabi kois a tshuva. Creating one of Ibar tshuva who? What is somebody who's a boil an Eshes Ish? Can he be a Baal Tshuva at not Shimon ben Manasseh Omer? Ezeu muvat lo yuchal litkon. What is the sin that you can't correct? Zabala ervav or the mamzer. You can't correct the mamzer, but it's mashma that he can't become a Baal Tshuva. Yeah, but but becoming a Baal Tshuva, he's now acting like the rest of Klal Yisrael. Okay. I'm going to stop here. We pretty much caught up. Tomorrow we'll try to fill the block if we can. So again, tomorrow we'll learn at 7:30, and no problem.
Okay, shkoyach, honey.
Shkoyach,
Shkoyach.
everybody. Have a good day.
And you have a good evening.